Hello, in this series we are going to learn geometry for middle school or high school students. So let's get started with some basic concepts. What is a point? A point has no size and it is represented with a small dot. For example, this may be a point. We label point typically with capital letters. This can be called a point A. There could be another point B. What is a line? Sequence of points in straight sequence is called a line. Okay, and between 2 points there is only one line which is possible. So these are the 2 points A, B. If I have to draw a line from A to B, it will be this line, and there is no other line which is possible between A to B. You cannot have a line like this, even though it is a sequence of points, but this is not straight, so that's where it is not a line. So between 2 points there is only one line which is possible, and a line can extend forever in both of the directions. It can go from here till here, the same sequence of points. If you extend or you extend here, it is still a line. Okay, so thereby the representation of the line. So line would be represented by A, B and this arrowheads. The arrowheads indicate that the line is extending in the right or left direction till infinity. Now in a line, we have something called as a segment. So let's say this was a line. There could be 2 points here. Let's call C and D. And if you see C and D, if you take from here to here the sequence of points, it's a segment. It has a specific length. So line does not have a length because it grows till infinity. But from C to D, if I take a scale and measure, probably it is around 2 centimeter. So it will always be 2 centimeter. It cannot go beyond or it cannot become less. So it is a segment, and segment is represented by this. It indicates that it cannot extend here, it cannot extend here. Now the third concept which comes in lines. So we saw point, then we saw line, and we saw line segment. Okay. Now the last concept which comes is a ray. So ray has one point which is a limiting point, which means it's a bounded point, and it can extend the other direction forever. So for example, let's call it Z, and let's call some point here as B. So ZB is a ray, so which means in the direction of B it can extend forever. Okay, so it's a ray. So ray is represented with the arrowhead on one direction, and in another direction there won't be any arrowhead, which indicates in one direction it can extend for infinity. So we understood these 4 points. Now it is important to know something called as a parts whole postulate. So before going to postulate, let's understand what is a postulate. Postulate. So postulate is a statement which is considered to be true. It's true, but it does not have a proof. Okay. And there is another word which we have to know, which is called a theorem. Theorem has is also true. Both of them are always true. This is always true. This is always true. But this has a associated proof. Okay. You can prove why it is true. You can have a proof that this is true. We will see some proofs and then it will become aptly clear. But theorem does have a proof. It does not have a proof. So it does not, but both are true. This is true. This is true. Okay. Now we were discussing about the parts whole postulate. This is a line, and I make a segment here. I call this segment AB, and I draw another point here. Let's call C. So this segment has a midpoint here, not a midpoint, it has another point here called C. Then what happens is AC is part of the whole AB. CB is also a part of the whole AB. So AB shall be equal to AC plus CB. That is the parts whole postulate. The length of A to B would be equal to length of A to C plus length of CB. Okay, that's a parts whole postulate. It's common sense, but still important to highlight. So now we learnt about line and line segments, rays, everything about lines we have understood.